Why don't we start by talking a little bit about what was going on back when you first introduced the bill?
Well, when the Conservatives came in, it was clear that they were going to abandon Kyoto, and they said they would, and they did actually.
Mm-hmm.
So I said to myself, this issue is much too important. I came with a private bill, C38, forcing the government to respect our international obligations. And I went to see the Bloc Québécois, I went to see the NDP, and they both supported my private bill.
All right. So give me a little bit about the process for how that bill worked its way through the system.
It's something incredible. This made history, and people are still talking about that bill. Once I secured the support of the Bloc Québécois and the NDP, we started debating that, and the Conservatives did everything they could to stall it, to stop it, to beat it. I remember one meeting, a Conservative MP who doesn't even sit on the Environment Committee came in and spoke for 2 hours. He insulted me for 2 hours, and when the time was up, the meeting was over, and he left. So they filibustered that. They tried all kinds of tricks and saying that the bill was not legitimate, this and that, but the Speaker ruled out, said no, it's fine, it's perfect, it's debatable. So the debate went on, and we had enough votes with the Liberals, the NDP, and the Bloc to pass it.
Okay, and then you found support in the Senate for that as well?
Well, yes, then I had to go to the Senate. I appeared at the Senate Committee on the Environment the same day that the minister at that time, John Baird, appeared. And I told the Senate before Baird came in what was going to happen, what he was going to tell them. And I was absolutely right. He went there trying to scare them and say, if you support this, and if you do, and if you try to respect Kyoto and work right away on the environment, you're going to hurt the economy, you're going to lose hundreds of thousands of jobs, this and that. So he was trying to scare people, when it's quite the opposite, and Obama is demonstrating that to us today. Let's stop opposing the economy and the environment. Let's see them together, and let's realize that the environment represents huge opportunities in terms of jobs.
Okay. Now, after the bill passed, what happened then? It was to give them 60 days?
After that first hearing at the Senate committee, when I went and the Minister of the Environment went, there were more consultations by the Environment Committee in the Senate. They debated it, they adopted it, and then they went for a last vote in the Senate, and then it got royal assent June 22nd, 2007.
Right. Okay, and so the bill gave the government 60 days to come up with a plan?
Yeah, they had to come up with a plan. They had to explain to us what they intended to do, which mechanism they're going to use. Are they going to use cap and trade or whatever? I mean, they had a lot of options. It was up to them to demonstrate that they wanted to act on the environment, and they failed completely. And they showed us what I was saying from the beginning, that they were not ready to do something right away on the environment, and they're just letting things go and get worse and sacrificing generations to come.
Right. Okay. So what was their response to it after those 60 days? Now, they came out with some kind of a report, did they not?
They came with that was crap. I mean, they came with stuff that they came with before. Nothing has changed. It was clear that they didn't intend to respect the law of the land, because my private bill, C28, was a private bill at the beginning, but once adopted by the House, then adopted by the Senate, then with the royal assent, then it becomes the law of the land.
Yeah.
It's the law like any other law. It's like the same law that says you have to respect, whatever. I mean, property, or I mean, it's a normal law like any other one, and they have to respect it. And now the government and the Prime Minister are not even respecting the law of Canada.
All right, which comes to the crux of what this piece is about, is What happens when the government doesn't respect the laws?
Then it's like any other individual. We're in court. I mean, environmental groups are in court actually trying to sue the government, which is very weird. Groups are in courts to force the government to respect the law of Canada. That's very, very weird.
And what do you think that says about the government or about what's happening to our system when we're being forced to sue our own government to follow the law?
It shows that with this government, it's less and less a democracy and more dictatorship. The government didn't want to act on the environment. The House of Commons decided to do it for the government and passed a law. And the Prime Minister is saying, I'm not going to respect the will of the House. Since when can a government do that? The House of Commons is the base of our own democracy, is where the 308 MPs get together, debate, and vote the laws. The Prime Minister is saying, I'm above that. I'm more important than our own institution of democracy. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And it also seems to be implying that our system doesn't work the way that it does, as in that he is the first among equals as opposed to a president.
Yes, but you're right, and with this case specifically, because you're right with this Prime Minister. Normally things doesn't happen this way.
Yeah.
When a bill is voted by the House of Commons, it has to be respected by any Canadian. You try not to respect the law. It's going to happen the same thing if I don't respect the law. We're going to go to courts, and there's a price to pay for that. Well, in this case, it's the Prime Minister of Canada who decided voluntarily and even told his government not to respect the law of the land.
So, I mean, you can't exactly throw a Prime Minister in jail for not following the law. So what becomes the remedy in this kind of a situation?
There's public pressure. We'll see what the courts say. If the courts say that we're right and they have to act on this, they will have to present something. If not, there's public pressure. And I mean, I'm calling on those people. They're humans like we all are. We're seeing the consequences of not moving on the environment right now. I hope they will be able to listen, open their hearts and their minds, and understand that we have to act now on the environment, right now.
All right. Now, with other laws facing the same kind of fate as C288 did, I guess what is your sense then of what's happening to our system under this government? Well,
the thing is that he's trying to replace this democracy by a monarchy. He's acting as the king, the new king of Canada. There's another bill passed by my colleague John McKay on fighting poverty and aid to international countries, and they're not respecting also that bill. So we're in a situation where the Prime Minister is just cherry picking and say, okay, this law I'm going to respect, the other one I'm not going to respect, and this one I don't like it, I'm not going to respect it. You can't work like that. It doesn't work like that for you as an individual.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for that man as the Prime Minister of the country. He has to respect the law of the land.
Okay. And I guess the fixed election date law is another big classic example of that.
There's
many
other examples. Many others examples. That's a clear example of the Prime Minister not respecting, in this case, his own law, right? We leave here in June. We leave, the MPs, we all go back to our ridings in the month of June. 2-3 months after, he comes back and say, "Thing doesn't work in the House of Commons, so we have to call an election." Hey, we haven't been in Ottawa for 3 months.
Yeah.
How can it deteriorate? We were not there for 3 months, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It showed that he was lying, and he lied to Canadians to get his election. He got it, but he didn't get his majority. People don't trust him.
Yeah, and once again, there's a court case going on about that particular law.
Yeah, and you know what? There'll be more and more cases. If you have a Prime Minister that doesn't respect the law, you have a problem. There's something sick in your democracy when the person elected to lead the country and respect the law doesn't even respect the law.
So what kind of a remedy do we have for that then?
We have to call an election and replace the government.